Hi everybody, this is Chris again, and this is a video about how to learn or how to improve your Chinese pronunciation. When you're learning Mandarin Chinese, one of the most difficult, challenging things is how to get good pronunciation and a good grasp of the tones in the language. So Mandarin is actually made up of individual syllables, which is one syllable per Chinese character. And the good news is that there are not as many sounds in Mandarin Chinese as there are in some other languages. However, Chinese is a tonal language, of course, so there are 4 different ways of pronouncing each syllable in Mandarin Chinese. So when you start learning Chinese, I recommend learning Pinyin, which is the official way in China that they use to write the sounds of Mandarin using the Roman alphabet. And every syllable or every character can be written out in the Western alphabet with a little accent above the letters to indicate whether it's the first tone, the second tone, the third tone, or the fourth tone. Pinyin was divided by a Chinese guy, not by a Westerner, so some of the sounds are not spelled out in the way that you might expect them to be. So to help you to learn Pinyin and the sounds of Mandarin, I recommend that you download the free Chinese Pod Pinyin chart tool, which I can put the link for in the description to this video. It's a free tool that you can use on Windows, Mac, or the iPad, and it's interactive, so you can click on any syllable in Chinese and any of the 4 tones, and you can listen to the correct pronunciation and then try to copy along with the native speaker. So try to say all of the different sounds and maybe practice using saying the different syllables in the 4 different tones. And if you use this software, you can practice all of the sounds in Mandarin Chinese. And for people who have been learning the language for some time, as you continue to study, pay special attention to the tones of each character and word, because most words are, of course, made up of 2 characters or 2 or 3 syllables. So it's important that you learn the tones of each character accurately and practice saying them right from the beginning of your study. So if you have to speak very slowly when you first start learning, then that's fine, because accuracy, in my opinion, is the most important thing. It's better to get into a good habit at the beginning and then keep on in that way and then speed up gradually later. So you should always study from courses that have audio CDs or MP3 recordings and copy the native speaker as accurately as you can, following along with the Pinyin pronunciation guide. So you can speed up gradually, but it's important to keep your tones accurate as you do that, and to not let your accuracy of your tones slip. So make a point of noting down the tones of vocabulary that you learn and jotting down mistakes when people point out mistakes that you've made. So for more intermediate or advanced learners who want to improve the accuracy of your pronunciation, I recommend listening to a lot of TV and radio broadcasts, because you can get these online. For example, tunein.com has a lot of online radio stations that you can listen to. Broadcasters in China are tested on the accuracy of their pronunciation before they are allowed on the air, so you know that they're going to be speaking very accurately. So try to note their intonation. Most Chinese TV as well has subtitles, so you can read along the subtitles at the same time as listening, which is great practice. So you can even stop recordings that you have and try repeating sections after the speaker or following the pronunciation of their speech very carefully. If you are able to speak with native Chinese people, or you have a teacher, then try to ask them to point out specific mistakes with your tones or pronunciation. This will help you to correct some of the more common mistakes that you're making. It may be discouraging sometimes to hear people point out your mistakes, but you will learn from this very quickly, and it will help you to improve very fast. So another thing that you can do is to grab a voice recorder or to grab your smartphone and to record yourself reading out a text or a dialogue or just talking about a certain topic, and then play the recording back to yourself and try to listen to yourself and see if you can notice your own mistakes, because it will be much more difficult to hear your mistakes when you're speaking yourself. And if you hear yourself on a recording, it can be much easier to figure out your mistakes, although it is kind of painful at the beginning. it will help you to improve very quickly. Native speakers, if they can point out your mistakes, you can take notes and try to improve in the future. When I was first learning Chinese, I found it very difficult to get all of the tones right all of the time. I made a lot of mistakes with tones. However, through people correcting me and listening to a lot of standard Chinese, like on the radio, and listening to myself, I managed to iron out most of my mistakes over time. So don't worry if you make mistakes with pronunciation. The most important thing is to be understood and try to pay attention. But speaking out is the most important thing, and you can improve over a long period of time. So I hope these tips are helpful to you, and good luck with improving your Chinese level. Check out my other videos and my website for more tips.